Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos. Yesterday, Manchester United beaten Colchester by 3 goals to nil at Old Trafford in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. So it is very good that we have progressed to the semi-finals of the competition. Obviously, the semi-final draw was made yesterday, and we know we have got Man City in the semi-final. Obviously, they beat Oxford by 3 goals to 1. Leicester, of course, drawn Aston Villa. Leicester, of course, drew with Everton 2-2 after 90 minutes. But of course, beat them 4-2 on penalties. And Aston Villa beat Liverpool on Tuesday night by 5 goals to nil. It has confirmed that the first leg is at Old Trafford, on the week commencing 6th of January. And of course, the second leg is at the Etihad on the week commencing the 27th of January. So, it's going to be a very good game. As you all know, Man City, I think, have won the Carabao Cup in the past 2 seasons. I think they've won it 4 times out of the last 6 seasons. Last time we won it was obviously back in 2017 under the Jose Mourinho era. We beat Southampton by 3 goals to 2 in the final. Yeah, so I think we've got a very good chance winning the competition. It's very imperative that we do get some silverware on the board. Because we've obviously lacked silverware in the last 6 or 7 years. Haven't really won that much as we should be. But I think we've got a great chance of winning the Carabao Cup. I think we've also got a great chance of winning the Europa League. Because obviously we've won Group L. We're into the knockout stages. So I think we can definitely add some silverware on the board. But obviously Man City is going to be an extremely difficult game. But we beat them in the league recently. By 2 goals to 1. So hopefully we can replicate. Over the 2 legs against City. Than what we did to them in the league. Obviously, Solskjaer's reacted to the draw. It was a shame that we couldn't avoid them in the semi. Then it would have been better if we'd have actually got Man City in the final. I think we played, was it City in the semi-final, was it a couple of years ago? I think we beat them by 1 goal to 0, if I'm right. So I'll just give you my overall analysis on the game against Colchester. I don't think we was too good in the first 45 minutes. Wasn't that good. Colchester were very disciplined in that, and I was really worried in the first half, and we was wasteful in front of goal. What I mean is, wasn't really clinical in front of goal, and that was an element of concern. We had too many wasteful opportunities, but I think the performance in the second half, was totally a comparison to the one in the first half. We scored 3 times, in the space of 10 minutes in the second half, which is very good. The first goal was from Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford is in absolutely scintillating form. 14 goals already this season for him. And I think, Rashford could score from between 25 to 30 goals this season if he does keep this consistency up. In all competitions, that was Rashford's 193rd appearance with the club yesterday, and he has scored 59 goals in all competitions. So he has nearly now scored 68 goals for the football club. And, Rashford has really rejuvenated himself. Obviously, I know earlier on in the season, he wasn't performing to the standards as we should expect from him. But I still said at that point he's the long-term solution for Man United, only the age of 22, and so far spent the entirety of his career with a football club. Being in the senior squad since 2016, being a United player overall since the age of 7. So you've got to definitely credit him. I thought he took his first goal as well, really well. Nemanja Matic, of course, had provided the assist. It was a lovely long pass, lovely long ball from Matic, found Rashford. Rashford, just I think he skipped the challenge of one Colchester player in that, and his pace is also unbelievable. But his finish, the finish was just absolutely fantastic. I think there's definitely aspects of his game that are improving. His finishing's improving. He's getting more runs in behind, which is fantastic. But yeah, very very impressive. And Rashford also got an assist in the game. The second goal was an own goal from Ryan Jackson. I thought it was Rashford at the first, but obviously, I watched the highlights. It came off Ryan Jackson. It was a lovely low crosser from Mason Greenwood to find, to put it into the box. Obviously, it didn't come off Rashford, unfortunately. It was, Ryan Jackson. So, from a Colchester, perspective, that was a bit fortuitous. But even if it hadn't hit him, Rashford had got it anywhere. So that was 2-0. And then the third goal came from Anthony Martial. This was a lovely team goal. Juan Mata with a lovely pass, to find Rashford on the left-hand side. Rashford puts it in, and Martial, obviously taps it into an empty net, and that's 3-0. And, Anthony Martial has done really, really well in the games he's played in this season. Yesterday, that was Martial's 190th appearance for the football club. He has now scored 55 goals for Manchester United in all competitions. Martial's just recently recovered from a muscular problem. He was initially out early on the season with a hamstring injury, so he was out of action for quite a long time. But we do know that he had more inspiration in that attack of third of the pitch, and it helps the likes of Daniel James and Marcus Rashford. Very, very good player. And I think, he will succeed at Manchester United. Only at the age of 24, just recently turned 24. But yeah, he's now into his fifth season at the football club. But I think Martial, this season, in the games he's played in, he's replicating what he did in his debut season. This was obviously under the Louis van Gaal era, because it was fantastic, when we got him. We only got him as a 19-year-old, but very, very impressed with him. But I think, we took, the goals really, really well. But it was like I said, it was a much better performance in the second half. Solskjaer obviously, made quite a lot of changes, from the 1-1 draw with Everton. Obviously, he's going to be, obviously, he rested key players because he knows Watford is on the horizon. Obviously McTominay and Fred were rested. Lindelof didn't play, but actually, Maguire played. Surprisingly, I thought Maguire would have been rested. Luke Shaw actually, started at left back. I thought actually Brandon Williams would have started at left back, but Brandon Williams actually, came on in the game. Young obviously, was at right back. That's obviously, Young's 259th appearance for the football club, since his arrival from Aston Villa back in 2011. Like I said, Matic played alongside. Matic played alongside Andres Pereira in our midfield. I think a lot of Manchester United fans now feel as though that, he's, finished at the football club, because a lot of Manchester United fans have got a lot of strong reservations about him. And, he has been, I think we've overplayed him this season, because he has been actually, playing consistently. Constantly, he's been playing constantly, and he hasn't been consistent enough as Andres Pereira. So if we could move him on, next year, then I think that would be very, very beneficial, because I think he doesn't complement, when he plays in, he doesn't complement, our midfield. When he plays in that attacking line, doesn't complement that. So I just don't think, he's good enough for Manchester United. And I said, anywhere we need to get rid of some of the young players. But I think a lot of the young upcoming players will become a success at Manchester United. Greenwood again, I thought he put a pretty decent performance out yesterday, especially in the second half. Like I said, he was part of this, part of the goal, part of Ryan Jackson's own goal with a lovely Freddie cross. And like I said, he's a really, really good player with Greenwood, and Solskjaer recently said that, he's becoming almost impossible, to drop Mason Greenwood. Like I said, Greenwood did start. Greenwood was playing on that right hand side. But I think, we need to play more regular in the Premier League. We've got to give him more starts from the start in the Premier League. So far this season, as far as I'm aware, he's only started one game from the start in the Premier League, and that was obviously the 2-1 win against Tottenham. But very, very good player, only at the age of 18. Greenwood's on 7 senior goals for the football club this season. The vast majority of them goals have come in the Europa League, because he's been starting like in the Europa League games and that, obviously. But very, very good player. And I think as he develops more, you could say, he may overtake Rashford. He'll definitely, emulate to Marcus Rashford's level, I think in the next year or two. Maybe not even that long. Some people say, we should, he's a better solution than Martial. We should drop Martial more and, play Mason Greenwood up there instead. I do not know. James, of course, was rested, yesterday, he obviously, didn't play. So we did rest quite a few key players in the game. Juan Mata, of course, was playing. So yeah, Solskjaer did make a lot of changes. But yeah, like I said, very, very good winning. But, you've got to also credit Colchester, because, they did well, and how they progressed to the last 8, because they beat, obviously, in the previous rounds, they, beat Crawley. They obviously beat 2 Premier League teams on the way as well. They beat Crystal Palace, they beaten Tottenham. They also, I think, beating Swindon. But, they had a really, really good cut runner, did Colchester. Colchester are sitting, 9th in League 2. So I think, they, from a Colchester perspective, they will be happy, the cut run they had, because they wouldn't have expected, to progress to the last mate of the competition. Yeah. So that's my analysis on the game. As you all know, today it is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 1-year anniversary at Manchester United. I updated you about that yesterday. So it is today exactly 1 year that Solskjaer has been at Manchester United, and he gave his overarching view on it. He did say, the year's gone really quick. It's been very enjoyable. Don't forget, Solskjaer's recently spoken about the importance of us lifting trophies and that, because obviously he wants to, get us back to being a competitive elite level football club, and he wants to get us back up there, challenging for major honours. And this is why I did say, for us to do this, we've got to get, the right calibre players to Manchester United next year. We've got to reinvest in that midfield. We need an attacking midfielder. We also need a defensive midfielder. We also, need a couple of attackers in. Like I said, someone who can come in, who can score goals, someone who can obviously create chances, and someone who could bring more players into play. You can say we also need a right winger, and there's possibly other areas in the squad as well that need to be addressed. But, yeah, and Solskjaer says, for this year it's been an honour and it has been a privilege. But, Solskjaer, I don't know how many games in total he's managed so far. I know he's managed 38 games for us in the Premier League so far, But, let's say, what do you think's the best games, we've had under Solskjaer so far? I thought, one of the best games is probably Man City, the 2-1 win against Man City, and that's most recent. I've got to say, analysing it, I think that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's best game so far during his managerial career with Man United. I thought also the Tottenham game was also, very, very good. And it was good because, Solskjaer overcame, Jose Mourinho and Pochettino with not even in 1 week. So you can also take that as a positive. I thought other games, the PSG game, last season, when we overcome that 2-goal deficit and won the second leg by 3 goals to 1. I think that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moment as manager. And obviously, after that win against PSG, that obviously was enough to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job. on a permanent basis. He's been permanent manager as Solskjaer for around 9 months. We give him the job in March. Obviously, he has got a 3-year contract with the football club worth around £7.5 million pounds a year. Got to say, probably the worst game that we've endured under the Solskjaer era is probably the 4-0 defeat to Everton last season. Obviously after that game, Solskjaer had come out and apologised, so I did credit him for that. I think our biggest away win under Solskjaer was the 5-1 win against Cardiff. That was actually not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game as Manchester United manager. Our first defeat under Solskjaer in the Premier League was to Arsenal back in March. Obviously, it was last season. We lost by 2 goals to 0. But obviously, since he has got the job permanently, everything seems to have all gone wrong. So, analysing the vast majority of this 9-month period, he's been permanent manager. You can say everything has definitely all gone wrong. But I think that was one mistake we did make, was giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job. But I thought, like I said, he did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. Like I said, the results were good, the performances were good. He exceeded expectations and that, and he got the best out of these group of players. And then my perceptions were different regarding Solskjaer, because I thought then he was the right manager for Manchester United. But yeah, I'm sceptical that Solskjaer will see out his 3-year contract at the football club. I can assure that he will be here in January. Presume that he will be here at the end of the season. I can't estimate how long, Man United are going to give Solskjaer. No, he'll probably still be here for the rest of this season. But we'll see who we can bring in the next couple of windows and that. Because, we are making plans for January. Isn't long now until the January transfer window opens. Our board are determined to back Solskjaer in the next couple of windows. Reportedly Solskjaer is going to get a spending spree of around £250 million, to rebuild the club next year. And I think £250 million should be enough for us to get the right number of players in. And I think for £250 million, we can get around 3 or 4 players. I think it's just basically dependent on, how we are with our recruitment and that, we're going to be sensible with our recruitment, or are we going to overpay for players. But we have got a lot of players on our agenda. And the good news is, that we're unbeaten in our, I think we're unbeaten in our last 6 games, is it, or something like that, in all competitions. So we haven't lost for quite a while, But yeah, very, very good win against Colchester and that. We know, obviously, the Premier League is definitely a priority for us. We're nearly now halfway through the Premier League season. With 17 games into the season, we've registered 20. I think we've registered 25 points, is it, from 17 league games, 25 points, and we know that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. We are 6th in the league. Obviously we're not in that commanding position, that we should be in. Reflecting on the size and the potential of this club, reflecting on the amount of money that's been invested into the football club over the years, in all the managerial eras, since the Ferguson era. I think around 600, 700 odd million pounds has been spent on Man United since the Alex Ferguson era, and not only that, we've also got a lot of players, on big contracts at the football club, But yeah, and like I said, Solskjaer is inheriting a good squad, because we have got a lot of good players in our team and that, But we shouldn't be 6 really, but we are still in that top 4 race anyway. I know I disregarded it, was it about 3 or 4 weeks ago, because obviously it looked very, very unlikely we was going to get. I was very, very sceptical about it, but obviously with Chelsea losing their last 2 games and that, it's let us back. It's let us back into that top 4 race. We're only 4 points behind. Obviously, if we'd have beaten Everton at the weekend, we only would have been 2 points behind top 4. So you could say we could have been in that top 4 by Christmas if we had have beaten Everton. But we are still definitely a minute. But I did say our expectations this season probably would have been to finish in that top 4. And I said, for Solskjaer's managerial tenure, to work out Man United, he's got to, meet them expectations. But I've got to be honest with you, I think the expectations are too high for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Man United. But I did assure at the start of this season, I did say, we won't win the league this season. We won't even mount any kind of title challenge up because analysing it, we're not good enough at the moment. Obviously analysing at the moment, City are strides ahead of us, Liverpool are strides ahead of us, So we're not going to win the league at least for the next couple of years, but I think we're definitely good enough for a top 4 finish. But we need Champions League football secured for next season anyway, so we can attract players to the elite level. But I've said on my recent videos anyway, I think we need to see a variety of changes at the football club. I don't only think we need a change of management. I think we need to. I think the board are a liability. Our board have been a liability for several years. I think also Ed Woodward is a liability, so he replicates the board. I think also there's still more players that need to leave Manchester United. I think, we still need to get rid of another 4 or 5 more players because these still problematic players at the football club. And I'm aware that a lot of players have obviously left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. I think I did say, didn't I, it would have been beneficial if we'd have got a director of footballing. I did say that's one of the structural changes that we need to see at the football club. So we need to see a variety of changes in that. But my element of concerns I've got about Solskjaer is that, he's been tactically naive for the vast majority of this season. He doesn't really have a plan B. He doesn't really have a style of play. And I think, like he recently mentioned, Solskjaer, if we was to win the Carabao Cup, if we was to win the Europa League, it would restore winning mentality at Manchester United, and it would obviously, give us more confidence then. But Solskjaer, for me, just isn't good enough, to be a Manchester United manager. Just doesn't have any intuition, on how to manage, because he hasn't really got a pedigree behind him in terms of management and that, he was totally comparison as a player, because I thought as a player, he had that proven pedigree, and, he flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance, he enjoyed 11 years at the football club, did Solskjaer as a player. So like I even said on my recent videos, whether his managerial tenure at Manchester United works out or not, we'll never forget, what he has done for the football club, Don't forget Solskjaer, won us, the treble back in 1999. That's obviously, one of the club's greatest achievements. That's over 20-odd years ago now. But like I said, a good couple of results doesn't change my perception regarding Solskjaer. I still don't think, he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. And I hope to be proven wrong. But our vast majority of our players are still willing to keep faith in him. Ed Woodward is still determined to stand by him. Like I said, the board are willing to back him. The board didn't back him. The board feels as though that they didn't back him enough during the course of the summer. Because us getting a new manager in at this present time, I don't think would change a lot of things at Manchester United. It wouldn't solve a lot of their problems, because we don't want to persistently keep sacking managers. We're not really known for a sacking football club anywhere, despite the fact we've sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, Moyes got sacked, Van Gaal got sacked, and so did Jose Mourinho. And it's been confirmed that Solskjaer's record is worse than Jose Mourinho's. He said a while back that his actual win ratio is worse than what David Moyes' was. So I haven't really seen any improvements under Solskjaer than what I saw under Moyes, Van Gaal and Jose Mourinho and that. And, Solskjaer, I know that, Ferguson transformed into a winner. But he won't. I just can't see Solskjaer, invoking Ferguson's legacy to save him at Man United. And I know recently, Ferguson spoke about his legacy at Manchester United and that. Like I said, Ferguson developed a lot of young players, and Solskjaer does replicate him in that aspect. Solskjaer, wants to continue recruiting young players to Manchester United and that. And so, according to Solskjaer, he's following Ferguson's philosophy. But under Ferguson, like I said, he controlled the transfer policies, controlled the contracts. That fear factor was there. That winning mentality was there. And, none of that's been there, The fear factor is no longer there. The winning mentality is no longer there. Old Trafford is no longer a fortress as it was back under the Ferguson era. But don't forget, Ferguson didn't settle in straight away. He didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club, when we recommended him in from Aberdeen. We won a total of 38 major honours under Sir Alex Ferguson. But obviously, we haven't had Ferguson now for nearly, 7 years. So we haven't been under the Ferguson era for quite a long time now. And the last time we won the league was in Alex Ferguson's last season. So we haven't won the league now for nearly 7 years and that. But obviously I know we've enjoyed our start to a Premier League season for 30 years. And, Solskjaer's been accountable for some of our bad performances and results this season. But, he's not been accountable for it all. I think, a lot of other, I think everyone, needs to take some responsibility. Some players have been very poor this season. Like I said, you can blame the board. You can also blame Ed Woodward, because I don't like the way the football club's been run anywhere in the last 6 or 7 years. But the things I credit Solskjaer for, like I've said on my recent videos and that, in some games we showed some tactical flexibility. So in some games he's tactically got it spot on. I think he's, got a lot of faith in his young upcoming players and that, because the young players have been given their chances this season, as Solskjaer did assure that they would do. When he initially got recommended in December of last year, this is when he first got recommended in, he did confirm anywhere that everybody would get their chances, and everybody has been given their chances and that. I think we've got a few players in the team that obviously their appearances now are limited. Rojo's appearances are limited. Rojo's obviously out with injury at the moment. Jones's appearances are limited in the Premier League because Solskjaer's first choice centre backs are Lindelof and Harry Maguire. I think Andres Pereira's appearances now need to be limited. Based on his bad run of performances. I can't believe how inconsistent Andres Pereira's been. Matt has initially lost his place in the team. Like I said, he plays in the Europa League and the Carabao Cup, but doesn't play that often in the Premier League. But I think when he plays, he does operate well in that number 10. But at least, everybody has been given their chances, to express themselves and that. And, Solskjaer knows some of this team anywhere, this day and age, because obviously, when he managed the Manchester United reserve team from 2008 to 2010, he watched some of this team, grow and develop, don't forget. Obviously, we have still got some injuries, and Man United have had a lot of injuries this season, but that's not obviously being excusable for our bad run of performances. But the good news is more players are coming back from injury. I think Bay and Fossil Mensah are back in training, as Solskjaer did confirm that they would be this week. Bay's been out with an knee injury. Fossil Mensah's been out with a knee injury. Bay hasn't played since pre-season. Fossil Mensah hasn't, played, I think, since he was on loan with Fulham last season. Don't forget, Fossil Mensah returned to the football club in the summer. So obviously, them two are still out. Diego Dalot, he's actually, sustained quite a few injuries this season, so this is why, he hasn't played much. Paul Pogba, of course, as you all know, I give you the news prior to the Colchester game that he has got a illness as Paul Pogba. This was obviously, I think, days after he attended his brother's wedding in France. I think he attended his brother's wedding on last Friday. But initially, Paul Pogba did recover from his ankle injury, because Paul Pogba's been out with an ankle injury for over 3 months, and he hasn't been in action since September as Paul Pogba. So you've got to say he has been a big miss in our midfield. He's missed, I think, the last couple of days of training, at least, due to his illness. I'm not sure yet until I read some reports how severe this illness is. But hopefully, Paul Pogba can play against Watford. If he isn't back for the Watford game, then I presume he will be back for the Newcastle game. Hopefully. But he has been big miss in that midfield. And, Paul Pogba now is into his you know, what, fourth season as a Manchester United player since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016, and analysing the vast majority of that period, we know he's been mainly inconsistent. Totally comparison to his time with Juventus. But I think, you know, we saw the best of Paul Pogba in that 3-month period when Solskjaer was the interim manager in that. We paid £89 million for him. Obviously, he's our most expensive signing. He's Paul Pogba. You know, he's on a substantial amount. The club is on around 290 grand a week. He's got around 17, 18 months left on his current contract. But he was expected to return to training this week, was Pogba. He was expected to return to training, but due to this illness, I don't think he has been in training. You know, I still think he's desperate to leave the football club. I think we're reluctant to let him leave in January, but he could leave next summer or leave at some point in the future. I'm very sceptical about him from now spending, you know, the entirety of his career with Manchester United. Obviously, he was relentlessly linked with Real Madrid for the entirety of the summer. There was talks about him possibly making a return back to training in that. But I've got to say, due to Paul Pogba's absence, I think, you know, Fred has fulfilled his position really, really well. Yeah. So that's mainly everything to update you guys with today on this video. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and there will be more videos coming up very, very soon. Thanks for watching, guys.